So, welcome, my friends, to our New Year's Eve day virtual Vinyasa class. And as always, the most important aspects of our practice, whether it's New Year's Eve day or any day on your mat, the important thing is that you listen inwardly for guidance. You do your best to remain present and work with the sensations in your body. So becoming fully embodied, so coming out of your head and really in to every cell in your body, and just noticing what arises in the moment, working with what arises in the moment skillfully and with compassion, and practicing ahimsa, which is nonviolence, first toward yourself, and then doing your best to coordinate breath with movement. So then this whole practice really is a form of moving meditation and embodied awareness. And because it is New Year's Eve day, and that means a lot to a lot of people, I'll just share a little something that maybe you'll find helpful or not. I've been thinking a lot about the whole idea of resolutions and people setting these resolutions, these sometimes lofty goals or whatever, and a lot of times they, within a couple of weeks, have forgotten whatever that resolution was, and they're really no farther down the road to where they wanted to go. And I was thinking, well, why does that happen? And I think there are many, many reasons, and I'm not going to get into all the reasons. Behavior change is a very complex subject matter. But I was thinking that sometimes I feel like people set themselves up for failure because it's too dramatic of a change. It's like, I'm going to, do X, or I'm not going to do X. And it's just too dramatic, versus a way I was thinking of maybe making it easier for people is to just really think about what doesn't serve you related to whatever your goal is, like what isn't in alignment with that, and just kind of easing your grip or gently letting some of that go, and then creating some space for some new ways of being, new awareness, and micro practices, little tiny practices that might move you into the direction of your goals. So for me, it was like, what do you want to say goodbye to? And what do you want to say hello to? And again, this idea of kind of ebb and flow, which is very much what our yoga practice is about, pulling in, working with, releasing, and coming more to the gray area in the middle, where it's just these little changes, subtle shifts in your mindset, little tiny practices that are very, very doable. And then a lot of times you can build some momentum when it's not such a kind of success failure thing, black and white, when it's just little tiny, easy, doable, and pleasurable little shifts. So maybe reframing some of the things you're looking to bring into your life moving into the new year, and just picturing gently releasing a few things and making space for something new to come in. So I'll sound the singing bowl 3 times, and you can just allow the sound to penetrate your awareness. So this morning, let's start by remaining seated and just really taking your seat, feeling anchored into the ground through the base of your spine. and then feeling that connection from the crown of your head, reaching up toward your highest potential, towards source, toward God, whatever resonates with you. And before we begin, if you can, visualize your chakras, and those chakras are energy centers which start at the base of your spine and end not only at the crown of your head, but then they believe outward. So there's like an 8th chakra and a 9th and a 10th, however many outward. So the energy body just gets more dissipated as it goes out. So maybe visualizing the colors of the chakras, and then as we move through the rest of the practice, just really visualizing those colors and these wheels of energy just pulsating, vibrating, and the energy flowing freely up and down this energetic channel. So the color for the first chakra, the root chakra, is red. So if you can visualize a red orb, and then the color for the second chakra here at the sacrum, creativity, is orange, and then the color of the solar plexus is a golden yellow, and then the color at the heart is an emerald green, and then the throat is a blue, and then the third eye is like a indigo, and then the crown chakra is either a violet or white. But if you can just maybe picture violet is easier. So just really picturing these pulsating energy sources and just visualizing that they're all vibrating, all connecting, all communicating throughout the entire practice. So then we'll gently touch the earth with our fingertips, and then we'll inhale, sweep the arms high and gaze upward. Exhale, root down. So inhaling, touching the earth, rising up through the chakras and up into air and ether, and then less dense forms of matter, bringing it back down to the earth. Inhale, sweeping high, maybe touching your highest potential, God's source, and bringing it down to earth through your body. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, release down. And we'll do it one more time. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, just coordinate breath with movement. Then we'll move into a twist. Inhale, reach, and then we'll exhale, gently twist to the right. Right hand to the base of the spine, so your right hand is right at your second chakra in the back, right at your sacrum. And again, you're thinking of length and space and rotating, and then come back to center. Inhale, sweep both arms high, and then we'll exhale, gently twist to the left. Left hand to the base of the spine. Again, full cycle of the breath. Release, come back to center. Inhale, sweep high. Exhale, move into your twist. Right hand to the base of the spine. Again, inhaling, coming back to center one last time. Sweeping high. And then exhale, releasing, hand to the base of the spine. Full cycle of the breath. Great. And then release, come back to center. And then listen, we're going to inhale. Take the arms out to the side, then exhale, give yourself a hug, and just kind of hug and visualize you're sending energy into your heart chakra. And then inhale, open, expand, roll the shoulders up, back, and down. And then take the fingertips behind you, look upward. Again, open up through the chest, and then the energy coming up and out through the crown of the head. And then release and recross, give yourself a hug with the opposite elbow on top, the one that's less comfortable. And again, bring that energy into the heart chakra, giving yourself a nice little hug. And then release, roll the shoulders back, and then listen. We'll inhale and walk the hands forward. You're just going to reach your fingertips forward and then come into a gentle fold, a place where you feel a gentle stretch through your lower back and through maybe your hips, but not a strain. And then we'll gently release, walk the hands back. Great. And then walk the fingertips back and open. And then release, walk the fingertips forward. Release. And then come back. All right. And then excellent. We'll come off of our seat support and come onto your hands and knees. Great, and then we're going to do a couple of cat-cows in between. Exhale, draw in. Inhale, release. Heart forward, gaze forward. Exhale, draw in. Inhale, release. Exhale, draw in. Inhale, release. One last time. Exhale, draw in. Inhale, release, and then walk the hands forward a few inches, engage your core, and then we're going to move forward, inhaling forward, exhaling around and back. So now taking that energy from the chakras, the spine, and moving it out into the edges of the body. So the edges of the body for me in this circle is more the hips and the shoulders and the elbows, the wrists, maybe the knees. And then when you complete this next circle, pause at the top, inhale, exhale, circle around the other way. And again, just kind of spreading that energy out from the core, from the Sushumna, the central channel, out into every cell in your body. And then when you complete this next circle, pause at the top, inhale, and then exhale, sit all the way back into some variation of child's pose that works well for you. And then inhale, walk the hands over to the right side of the mat, open up the left side body. Inhale, walk the hands through center, over to the left, open up the right side body. Inhale, walk through center, reach the hands over to the right, open the left side body. Walk the hands through center, over to the left, open up the right side body. Great, come back up to center, onto your hands and knees, awesome. And then listen, we're going to tuck the toes under, come into a gentle downward dog. And then inhale, bend both knees so the shins are parallel with the floor. Exhale, gently straighten the legs. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten. One last time. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten. And then inhale, come into your plank pose. Engage your core. And here when you're engaging your core, this is all about the power center, your third chakra. So engaging, and then exhale, press back to downward dog. Inhale to plank. Exhale to downward dog. Inhale to plank. Exhale to downward dog. One last time. Inhale to plank. Exhale to downward dog, and then we'll inhale to plank, release the knees to the floor, toes to the floor, and then listen, we're going to release the forearms to the floor, stretch the legs on back, and then bring the hands alongside of the body. We're going to do 3 cobras. So inhale, lift the eyes, nose, chin, chest, and then release down. Inhale, lift up, eyes, nose, chin, chest, and release down. One last time. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, releasing down. And then press yourself up and back through child. Come onto the hands and knees. Do a couple of cat-cows. Great. And then listen. We're going to inhale and step the right foot forward. Draw the navel in and up. Feel a stretch through the hip flexor. Inhale, sweep the arms high. Open, and then exhale again, move into a gentle twist to the right hand to the base of the spine, like we did earlier. I'm going to focus a lot on twisting today, bringing energy, and then coming back to center, and then step the right foot back, left foot forward, and then draw the navel in and up, sweep the arms high, great, and then gently twist to the left hand to the base of the spine. So as we're doing this, if you can visualize your chakras, and what I just pictured was like a double helix. So if you can think of DNA, right, this double helix. So thinking of your chakras, and as we move into a twist, you're kind of twisting the chakras, which energizes the chakras. We take all that aligned energy, and then it can kind of spiral upward. And then we'll come back and bring the hands alongside the left foot, tuck the toes of the right foot under, step forward. Inhale, heart forward, gaze forward. Exhale, release into your fold. And then slowly roll yourself up, 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 one vertebra at a time. Sweep the arms high. Great. Exhale, hands to your heart. And listen, before we do a round of sun salutation A, let's just really feel our mountain just like we did when we were first seated. So feel your connection with the earth through your feet, and then draw that earth energy up through both legs and then into the first chakra. And the element of the first chakra is earth energy, so bringing that earth energy in. And then the element of the second chakra is water. And then the element for the third chakra is fire. And then the heart chakra is air. The throat chakra is ether. And then as we go through the third eye and crown, it just becomes more expansive forms of light energy, right? More space than matter. So as you start at the earth, it's very dense, kind of condensed, more matter and less space. And as you move up, 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 it's more space, less matter. And it connects you with, again, God or source, the universe. And so just really feeling that connection and bringing it into your body, and then bringing it into your sun salutation A sequence. So we'll inhale, sweep high, saluting our highest self and our connection with source. And then we'll fold and bring it to earth. Inhale, length, exhale, release. Right foot back, left foot back, come into your plank, lower to the floor. Inhale to your extension of the spine, beautiful. Exhale, find your way to downward dog. Great. And then inhale, release the knees to the floor. Step the right foot forward. Listen, Karen, we're going to come into a lunge. If you can, warrior one lunge. Bring your hands to your heart center. So Anjali Mudra. And then we're going to move into a twist. Twisting to the right. Again, emphasizing that twist. Breathing, releasing, and then coming back to center. Listen, we're going to float into a standing split, so walk the fingertips forward, transfer the weight into the right foot, earth energy pulling up, and then mindfully float the left foot down so it lands next to the right fold. Inhale, length, exhale, release, root and rise, sweep high, and then exhale, hands to your heart. And again, connect with the earth, connect with source, feel the energy flowing freely, maybe visualize the colors of the chakras, and then we'll do it all leading left. Inhale, sweeping high, exhale, fold and length and release. Left foot steps back, right foot steps back. Come into your plank, release to the floor. Inhale to your extension of the spine, beautiful. Exhale, find your way to downward dog. And then release the knees to the floor, toes to the floor, step the left foot forward, come into your lunge. Take your time. If you can, set yourself up for warrior one lunge. Bring your hands to your heart center and then move into your twist. Breathing. If for any reason this is too much on that front knee, you could always choose to release the back knee to the floor so then it's less stress. And then come back to center, release the fingertips to the floor, transfer the weight into the left leg. Breathe. And then mindfully float the leg down. And then come into your fold. Inhale, heart forward, gaze forward. Exhale, release, root and rise, sweep high. And then exhale, hands to your heart. And then let's turn the palms forward and just drop in. And maybe take a deep breath in. Listen through your nose. We'll do a little bit of a breathing practice, which is not traditional pranayama, but can be very cathartic. So maybe breathing in through your nose and then breathing out through your mouth and maybe making an audible kind of sigh. And as we'll do that a couple more times, and as you're doing this maybe visualize what you're looking to let go of, what you're looking to say goodbye to, just little tiny, maybe even ways of thinking or definitions of yourself which aren't serving you. Again, tiny, tiny things that you want to just gently release on your exhalation. And as you release, you make space for the new to come in to nourish you in a very gentle way, right? In a way that's just going to move you gently forward. No harsh judgments or anything like that. And then we'll inhale and interlace the fingers. Take the index fingers together. Length, exhale, hands to the right, hips to the left. Inhale, center, exhale, hands to the left, hips to the right. Inhale, center, open. Great. Inhale, center, open. Great. Inhale, center. Soften the knees. Inhale, roll the shoulders up, back, and down. If you can, clasp the hands behind you or interlace the fingers. If that's not good, just place your hands on your hips. And then we're going to do a little baby back bend. Walk the eyes back, open up the front body, and then come forward about a quarter of the way. From the strength of the legs, inhale, rise, little baby back bend. Exhale, fold, about a quarter of the way. Inhale, rise, little baby back bend. Exhale, fold, about a quarter of the way. One last time. Great, and then release. And then bring the hands to your heart. And we'll do a second round of sun salutation. Inhale, sweeping high. Exhale, fold and length and release. Right foot back, left foot back. Come into your plank, lower to the floor. Inhale to an extension of the spine. Exhale, find your way to downward dog. And then inhale, the right leg high, diagonal hip square. Bend the right knee. Stack the right hip over the left. Open, breathe, and then square the hips. And if you can this time, just step the right foot forward. Great. And then listen, we're going to spin the back foot in, come into warrior one. So I'm kind of combining a sun salutation A and B. Here we'll come into warrior one, soften, settle, and then bring the hands behind you, open up through the chest, shoulders. Great. Exhale, fold out over the right thigh. Inhale, root and rise, little baby back bend, open. Great. Exhale, fold out over the right thigh. Inhale, rise, little baby back bend. Beautiful. One last time. Fold. And then listen, rise, bring the hands to the heart. Open into warrior two. And then inhale, bring both arms high, slightly straighten the right leg. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reach. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reach. Exhale, warrior two. One last time, reach. Great, and then we're going to set ourselves up for extended side angle. Maybe walk the foot forward a little bit, the right foot, and then release the forearm. Take the left bicep over the ear, get long, and then rise. Gently straighten the right leg, reach the left hand behind the waist, right arm high, and then come into extended side angle number two. Good, and then rise, reverse, reach. Good, and then come into extended side angle number three. Awesome. And then we're going to gently release and pivot, come into a crescent lunge, draw the navel in and up. Interlace the fingers, soften, breathe. And then we're going to set ourselves up for grasshopper. So it can be very helpful to have a block. And you're going to place the block on the inside of your right foot. So I'll just kind of show you demo. So the block can be this way, the block could be this way, or the block could be this way if you're using a block. But the important thing again is that we're practicing ahimsa, we're practicing nonviolence first toward ourselves, and we're physically exploring what it's like to feel tension, feel some resistance, to pull the breath in, pull your awareness in, create some space, and then gently let go. Again, releasing a little bit of the tension, releasing the gripping. If we think of behavior change, again, maybe picturing those things, little things you would like to let go of, say goodbye to, and that you're making space for new energy to come in, new ways of being in the world, new ways of being in your body, maybe new ways of relating to yourself. And then gently come out of the pose and listen. We're going to set ourselves up for pigeon. So come into either a table, maybe if you want to do a couple cat-cows, you can. And then for pigeon, you can either come into downward dog and send the right foot forward and release, or you can just choose to stretch the left leg back, flip the right foot in, and then slide down. And again, a block can be very helpful here. So gently just release and then make a little pillow with your forearms stacked for your forehead. And just breathe. And again, this is a really rich place to explore where you're holding, where you're gripping, feeling that edge, pulling your awareness into that place, and softening and creating space for new energy to come in. And if you're familiar with ocean breath, you might cultivate that ocean breath here. And then we'll gently walk the hands back if that feels right for you. Open up through the hip. Great. If you want to catch the back foot, you can. And then we'll gently come out. Again, do a couple of cat-cows. And then come into a wide-kneed child's pose. Bring the big toes together. Fold the arms, the forearms, and then make a pillow for the forehead. And breathe here. Settle in. And then listen. We'll come up. Come onto your hands and knees. Continue to listen. We're going to tuck our toes under, and we're going to see if we can come into some variation of camel pose. If for some reason camel is not good for you, I'll give you an alternative. But for camel, you come up onto your knees. You can tuck your toes under or have blocks on either side. And then you're going to sweep your right arm over, left arm over, and catch your heels, open up. And then come back over and come into table. If that was too much for you, you could always come up onto your hands and knees and do what we did like humble warrior, bring the hands behind you, and you could just open this way without the hands having to connect with the feet. You're still getting all that opening of the front body. And then release, come into downward dog, and then walk the feet up, up, up. Come into your fold. Inhale, length. Exhale, release. Root and rise, sweep high. Great, and exhale, hands to your heart. And then turn the palms forward. And again, just drop in and connect. Great, and then bring your hands to your heart, and we're going to do the whole sequence, leading with the left foot. Inhale, sweeping high, and then exhale, fold, and length, and release. Left foot steps back, right foot steps back, come into your plank, lower to the floor. Inhale to your extension of the spine. Exhale, find your way to downward dog, and then inhale the left leg high diagonal, bend the left knee, stack the left hip over the right, and open. Breathe here. And then square your hips, and if you can, just step the left foot forward, shorten your stance, set your feet up for warrior one. Connect, root, center, rise, settle, and then gently straighten the left leg. Take the hands behind you, open up through the chest and shoulders. Exhale, fold out over the left leg. Inhale, rise, little baby back bend, great. Exhale, fold out over the left thigh. Inhale, rise, little baby back bend, one last time. Great. And then rise, bring the hands to the heart. Open into warrior two. Great. Inhale, slightly straighten the left leg. Reach both arms high. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reach. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reach. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reach one last time. Coming into warrior two, and then walking the left foot forward a few inches. Again, setting yourself up for extended side angle. Right bicep tugs the ear, open, and then inhale, rise, reverse, right hand behind the waist, left arm high, and then come into extended side angle number two. Great, and then rise, reverse, reach, and one last time. Coming into extended side angle. Great, and then release, pivot, set yourself up for crescent lunge. Again, have a block close by, interlace your fingers, opening, breathing. And then when you're ready, maybe step the left foot forward an inch or two, right knee back, and then find your block and come into grasshopper. Again, release here, breathe. And then you can come out and maybe do a couple of cat-cows, and then we'll set ourselves up for pigeon. Again, coming into pigeon in the way that serves you best. Making a little pillow with your hands stacked. And then walk the hands back, opening, breathing. If you want to catch that foot, you can. Big opening for the front body. And then eventually come out and find your way to a wide-kneed child's pose. Great, and then breathe here. This gives you a lot of focus on your first and second chakra in particular, because you can feel the release, but you can also feel the belly, the third chakra. And then come up, walk the knees in, and again, you'll either prepare for camel. You could use blocks, that's another option. Blocks right on either side. Or if you just know it's too much for your quads or for any part of your body or for your knees, then just interlace the fingers, take the hands behind you and open, or you can take the hands to your hips, right? We still get all that opening for the front body. And then gently release, tuck your toes under, find your way to downward dog, and then walk the feet up, up, up. And then fold, inhale length, exhale release, root and rise. sweet pie. And then exhale, hands to your heart. Great. And then turn your palms forward. Close your eyes and just allow your sand to settle. Allow your water to clear. Drop in. Good. And then we're going to do a balance challenge. And for today, because again, I'm emphasizing kind of the chakras for our New Year's Eve day class. And again, thinking of that double helix, right? The rotation. So for today, I'm going to suggest either the only balance pose you do, or you incorporate it into a series of balance challenges. For the people who normally take class with me, that's something a lot of them do. So it's up to you, but we're going to have eagle pose be part of that balance challenge. So for eagle, you're going to shift the weight into the right leg, take the left leg out to the side, sweep the arms out to the side like an eagle in flight, right? Soften, and then you're going to take the left knee over the right and the right elbow on top of the left and come into your eagle. And breathe and focus. Making all the little micro adjustments to maintain the pose. And again, maybe pulling in the ocean breath here, the Ujjayi breath, which is the breath where we breathe in through the nose and let the air swirl at the back of the throat. We breathe out through the nose and again allow the air to swirl at the back of the throat, making this gentle sound like putting your ear up to a seashell, right? Like the ocean. And again, visualizing what we're looking to say goodbye to, what we're looking to let go of, and then what we're looking to bring in, and using this ocean breath to strengthen our third chakra, our power center, which is our center of personal power, volition, action in the world, right? We have to have action to follow up our intentions. Things usually don't just magically come together. It does require some effort, but again, it's right effort, not over-efforting, not pushing, forcing, but gentle effort. And then strengthening our throat chakra, which is our ability to communicate, but as far as with like setting intentions or bringing things in, our inner communication, that silent communication that goes on in our heads, can be very critical to whether we're going to succeed or not succeed in making subtle shifts and changes, right? How we talk to ourselves, what we say, and particularly what we say to ourselves when things aren't the way we planned. Things don't work out, we had the best intentions to whatever, and somehow that wasn't the case. And so to do your best with that inner communication, to be compassionate with yourself, to not beat yourself up, not say, oh, that was terrible, or oh, that's what I do every time, or see, I'm a fail, whatever. None of that, but more like this gentle compassion, like, well, it didn't work out quite the way I planned it. What can I learn from that? That experience? What could maybe I have done differently? And I'll bring that into the future. But again, it's this gentle awareness and experimentation that we need to bring in. And it just kind of popped into my head, and I'm not great with numbers, so forgive me if I got the number wrong. But some I don't know where I heard that like Thomas Edison, when he was making the light bulb, like he had like, I don't know, 10,000 experiments that failed, like failed, and then somehow one experiment wasn't a failure and it worked and he created the light bulb. But you think of that like for yourself, and what if he had just given up on something that he was really, enthused about doing in his life? What if he had given up? Who knows? But he didn't give up, and instead he learned from each little mistake and learned and used the mistakes as kind of grist for the mill or fodder to then make a better decision. So then when you're ready, you can come into your eagle pose on the other side, again, thinking of this kind of spiraling energy. Breathing, and again feeling that Sushumna, the central channel, with everything lined up. Energy coming down from the crown of your head, from Source, from God, your highest self. Sometimes I picture it like a funnel, like all this energy, expansive energy, just going right into the crown of your head and then right through every cell in your body, right down that central channel, and then kind of emanating out from the pulsation of those energy centers. And again, maybe cultivating the ocean breath here. And again, whenever you feel like you've done enough, moving the energy, shaking things out, coming back to Tadasana, turning the palms forward. Dropping in, right? And then we're going to come to a seated position. We're going to use our block and we're going to go into the Bij mantras, which I shared the Bij mantras today in my weekly wave newsletter. So I gave an extremely brief kind of explanation of them. They're very, very rich, and if you're looking to learn more, there's so much that you could learn about the Bij mantras. But essentially they're just seed sounds that are supposed to stimulate each of the chakras. And again, as we're working with alignment and bringing new things in, saying goodbye to certain things and hello to others, it can be very helpful for us to use this simple practice for kind of inner energetic attunement. Very simple through sound and vibration, right? So we'll just settle in, close our eyes, and if you can, picture those chakras, the colors of the chakras. And again, in my newsletter, if you look, I have a really nice image, I think, from Shutterstock that shows each of the color centers and the chakras aligned, so you see that. But so the sound for the root chakra is lam. So we'll inhale through the nose. We'll just say it once, each chakra, and each bij mantra, and then let it resonate. So lam. So we inhale. The seed sound for the second chakra is vam, V-A-M, so we inhale. The seed sound for the third is ram, R-A-M, so we inhale. The seed sound for the heart chakra is yam, so we inhale. The seed sound for the throat chakra is hum, so we inhale. And the seed sound for the brow chakra, there are different places or schools of thought with this, or different ways. The way I was originally taught was that this brow chakra, the seed sound is sham, S-H-A-M, but in many places you might look, they'll say that the sound is om, and then when you go to the crown chakra, it's silence, or it could be om again. Sometimes they repeat om, but the way I learned it was sham. So again, all these practices we do, it's all about figuring out just what works well for you, what serves you. There's not a right or a wrong in my mind. There's just really what resonates for you. So just be flexible here. So I'm going to say sham. So we inhale through the nose. And then the seed sound for the crown chakra is om, or silence. So inhale. So then we can just move into a minute or so of silence and meditation, anchoring your awareness either on your breath, the flow of the breath in and out through the nose, or anchoring your attention on a mantra if that serves you better. Again, what works for you, what serves you best is all that matters. And then you can come off of your seat support and shake your legs out a little bit. And then listen, I'm going to have us come down to the floor, but just listen. We're going to be moving into Shavasana. But if there's anything you would like to do before going into Shavasana, any energy you want to move or a little practice or whatever, please feel free to do whatever would serve you so that when you do arrive in Shavasana, you can just let go as much as possible. You can surrender to the force of gravity. You can be very soft and supple, receptive. So just letting go. And again, as you let go of tension, as you let go of gripping, of holding, letting go of your need to know everything, again, you're just putting yourself in this, to me, very beautiful place of not knowing and opening yourself up to source, to greater potential, to magic and miracles and all sorts of maybe synchronicities, things coming together in ways you could never envision. So again, just bringing that gentle energy in, letting it come into your body and create more space and lightness. Just breathing. And then eventually you can wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, and eventually just bring a little more energy into your body and then roll over onto your right side, surrendering the right side of the body, the masculine, yang, doer side, opening up the yin, feminine side. And then eventually using your top hand to press yourself up, coming back to your seat again, envisioning yourself seated and envisioning your chakras, the beautiful colors of the chakras all aligned, and then that energetic tube with the energy just flowing freely up and down with no obstructions and just energizing and supporting you in your new ways of being in the world. And then I'm just going to read a passage from the Breath of Joy, whatever I opened up to. So if what I read resonates for you, let it penetrate. And if it doesn't, let it go. So I opened to page 28. Love generators. Love is alive. Each one of us the bullseye on love's target, pierced to the very center and source by the generous energy of love. There is no other course but to become love generators, little dynamos radiating the truth of love in all its infinite disguises. So, namaste, my friends. Hopefully, you can take some of what you cultivated this morning on your mat or whenever you do this practice. I'm going to send out the recording, share it into the rest of your day and your interactions, and certainly into the new year, into 2026. And I look forward to sharing with you all and being with you all in the new year, and lots of love and peace and joy, and just be well.